What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, we got another Monday ramble. I always talk about certain types of hardships and, trying to stay positive to overcome these things, or possibly getting rid of something that may be holding you back, whether that be other relationships or maybe even a relationship with yourself, right? And the reality is usually that sometimes it's just that you got to dig deep in order to get those things done. Sometimes we do like to blame people, and a lot of times it may just be ourselves because our egos get in the way of admitting our own faults, right? And it's hard to admit our own faults and see that we are the ones that are holding ourselves back, and that there's things that we could be doing to be better. So, with that being said, recently I've been coming across my own hardships that I know that I have to work at, right? But how do I figure out what exactly I have to work at? That's the question, right? So, recently I said I was starting to train Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and I have. I like it, it's really fun. But that doesn't mean I'm good at it. That doesn't mean that I don't feel discouraged at times or anything like that. But that's going to come with the growing pains, and not being good at something at first. It can be discouraging when you got to start at the bottom of the hill to start trying to make your way up, right? When you start to learn jiu-jitsu, it's like when you first come in, the only thing you're going to be able to do is take your lumps, unless if you get somebody around your level, or even like a few months in, and they don't totally know what they're doing still, right? That they're still learning and stuff. You might be able to catch them in some stuff, but when people have been doing it for such a long time, they've been there before. They've been through those things. They know how to navigate those situations, right? And that's all it is. You're figuring out how to navigate certain situations that you come across while you're going through them, and very similar to life, right? But sometimes you just completely don't know what you do. What to do. You forget to stay calm. You forget to breathe. You start spazzing out. Whether it was something that you were taught, or it was just from your own original playbook, that you just act like a spaz, right? What do they say? You start spazzing out like coach never taught you or whatever. But sometimes you haven't been taught anything yet. So I guess there were some things I had to learn. I never knew what an open mat was. I thought that was just regular class and you go do whatever, but it's not. Open mat is just for those to go, show up, roll, and try to test out some of the knowledge that, not just knowledge, but some of the things that they learn, right? They say that jiu-jitsu is theory-based, right? It's a lot of the things that you're doing are theory. You're trying to test out those theories and prove upon some theories that already exist, and things like that. So, there's going to be situations where you might get somebody when they're testing out their theories and stuff. But it is what it is. You get caught, tap out, and go forward, right? I guess, especially for someone that's like bigger like myself, shout out to Bradley Martin, but he's 260, but I dropped down to 240 recently. So close, I wanted to be in the 230s this weekend, but 240.8, and I'm like, no. So it's gonna hopefully be sometime this week, that I get down into that weight range, and all I got to do is do my best to continue to eat better and not give into cheat food, cheat days, and things like that, which is really hard. But whatever, it is what it is. It's the same all around, right, for your life. But I'm getting, anyways, I'm getting like You know, you think you have an advantage because of your weight, which might be true when it's against somebody that has the same amount of knowledge as you, for the grappling arts, for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you know, that confidence can be faux at times, you know, because at any given moment they might just figure out how to throw up a guillotine. They might figure out how to transition to your back. You might just run out of air because you don't know how to breathe while you're rolling, right? And a lot of these situations I'm currently working on, right? Like I brought up, getting winded really fast, mainly because I didn't have any endurance. I was getting over sickness. I lost 20 pounds from being sick, you know, and that's not a good thing, but, you know, it's not an excuse not to do something. So, like I said, I wanted to start jiu-jitsu to not only help better my health, but expand my knowledge and not just be somebody that enjoys watching it and is like, oh, I want to do it, but never do it, right? Because I really want to do it. And it's like anything else in my life that I just started doing in the last couple of years is I want to do it, and I'm serious about it, right? And you know what? There's no better time to do it, but than when you're talking about doing it. So it can be intimidating. It can stink, like I said. I get smushed by guys that are pretty smaller compared to me. But as I'm going now, you know, I'm doing my best to learn more about leverages, to be more patient when you're on the ground rolling, right? There's times where, especially the first couple times, it could be almost claustrophobic with somebody on top of you when they feel like they're 400 pounds on you, and they're not that big. They're probably at most $180, you know, or 200 pounds, you know, maybe at most. And you know, and there's not a darn thing you can do about it. You're trying to get them off you, but they just won't go anywhere, right? Or you're on top, and all of a sudden you're on your back because you got swept. You know, there's a bunch of things you got to look out for. You try to guard against some kind of arm lock or neck crank or something, and they got a freaking Ezekiel choke on you. And there's just so many weapons that people could have that you don't know that they have until you get caught in that situation, right? And it is what it is. Learning how to apply proper pressures onto your opponent and make them feel like how you feel the first day, right? Except they're not going to feel the same way because they're going to know how to counterbalance. They're going to know how to take in that weight, you know? And you learn how to do that too as you roll. Some people better than others, and you know, I'm doing my best to do that. I'm freaking when I'm not rolling in jiu-jitsu, I'm practicing on my heavy bag. Right. I'm over there. I'm laying on that thing. I'm working on transitions. I'm trying to visualize what I'm going for and how do I keep applying my pressure as I make those transitions over. And then recently, I got this bike here. I put in a lot of miles on it already. I don't know, easily 20, 30, 40, 50 miles easily on it. You know, and then that thing's awesome. That assault bike's awesome. I could definitely tell that last time I rolled that my endurance is a lot more than it was. That I could have my heart rate elevated at a certain workload level and keep going and just keep breathing and working through it, right? Thanks to that thing. So it it's not a lifesaver, but it's something that helps me improve myself, right? And it's like any other tool in this world. You learn how to use it, and you use it correctly, that it can be extremely beneficial for you. So when I first got it, I tried to go a mile. Well, I did do a mile, but I was so burnt out. It was like one of the hardest miles ever. But after that, I kind of figured out, you know, that it isn't about going as fast as you can to do that thing, because it's pretty tough, but it's about staying in a certain reps per minute range that is good for you to continue to go on for X amount of distance, right? And it is like jujitsu, right? You just got to pace yourself, keep breathing, make sure you're breathing while you're moving, and you go from there. And it can translate, or you get in those situations and you just go full blown, full Nelson on somebody, and god dang, forget how to breathe and stay calm in your situations. So, but last time I rolled, I had a pretty good roll with the rolling partner. I'll talk a little bit about it. I got tapped out. I tapped him out too. He's been there a few more months, so his experience isn't like way more than me, but it's a little bit more than me, as as whatever that means. But it sometimes, it's not about anything bad, because when you're training, it's not about winning or losing. It's about improving. It's about learning, and it's about figuring out what to do when you're in those situations, right? I was told one time that I rolled about 2 years ago, and before I got hurt and stopped going, after one class, I wanted to keep going, but I had all this stuff going on that I needed to take care of. And, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to leave and come back, right? You got to take your time to do it. But they talked about position over submission, right? And I didn't know what that was for the longest time. And I think I'm starting to get it now, about what that is. Because I would try to go for certain chokes or moves that I thought would work at that time, that I've never really even pulled off, because it was just from watching moves, or it was the moves that I practiced as a kid when I'd wrestle, right? Well, except for like the rear naked choke, I pulled that many times off on people. So if that would have presented itself, I would have got that one good. But that's it. And so it is what it is. You're doing what you can to learn, and hopefully one day it starts to click, and you learn a little bit more about being patient. As we were going, I could see certain openings, given the situation that we were in, where I could apply some moves, and I did successfully. I got lucky. I wouldn't say lucky, because technically you set yourself up for those successes during that time, right? And when the time presents itself, you take advantage of that, and you take it, right? And I also hit a couple sweeps, because I had him on top, letting him work his top game while I lay there and try to counteract it. Obviously, you're gonna meet him with resistance, because they're meeting you with resistance. But the only way to get better in those situations is to be in those situations. So, when we engaged, jumped on my back, let him do his thing as I tried to counteract it, tried to stop a lot of his progress, which I can't always, because he's really good at transitions, right? He's a young guy. I'm an older guy now, and but doesn't mean I'm not going to try. He's having a hard time. I swept him, and he swept me too. So we were both learning, we're both advancing, and that's all that matters. It ain't about, oh yeah, I tapped Craig last week or some crap like that, because it means nothing in the gym. It means nothing in training. The only thing about training and all that matters is that you're learning and being better. So it's just something to sip on a little bit, especially if you're like me, where you're just starting out. It could be something totally different, a different sport, or something else in your life that's going on, and you might find yourself in the same type of situation. But the funny thing about life is that the remedy is going to be somewhat close to the same thing, right? Finding patience, finding openings, and just working hard and dedicating yourself towards that, and doing things that may help you towards that goal that you're going towards, right? So, but anyways, don't give up, anybody. If you're new to jiu-jitsu, if you're doing something else in your life that is extremely difficult for you and you want to give up, don't give up. Sometimes it's going to be hard. You're gonna want to quit. You're gonna want to not show up. But when you do, you're happy that you did, and that you figured out a problem that is relatively tough for you, given the situation, given the circumstances, and you're going to be more happy with yourself than if you were to have given up. So that's something for everybody, including myself, for sure. And till next time, I hope you guys have a great one. This has been another Monday ramble, and have a good week, everybody. Peace.